Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I didn't know we were going to have a packed house today, but man, whoo.
8 a.m. on a Tuesday in Vegas. This is what you're looking at.
Yeah, Wednesday. We have Taco Tuesday back home. Last night was probably Tequila Tuesday in Vegas.
Tuesday.
So
Oh, I like Taco Tuesday.
Taco and Tequila Tuesday.
Yeah.
Margaritas.
Margaritas. Oh, that's right. It's a Wednesday morning in Vegas.
That's right. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and get started here and kind of hello. All right. We'll hold the microphone like this. So, welcome to, and obviously, it's a nice small group, so ask a lot of questions. We can even turn it into questions and answers. If you guys have any questions, we want to make sure we, answer what you're here for. So feel free to raise your hand and ask any questions if you do. We're here to design talk. Don't fake it when you make it. And we're not talking about love. So we're talking about natural products. So anyway, so moving on, a couple things for you. If you're looking for credits, there's the AIA credits that you can get for this. I think forms are in the back, as well as the IDCEC credits as well. So make sure you can get them for speaking too, I think, right?
Yeah, do we get double credits for
Double
speaking?
credits for speaking, exactly. So welcome. Let's move on. Just a little bit about the panelists today. My name's Evan Cohen. I'm the owner of Quality Marble and Granite in Ontario, California, and we also have a location in Bullhead City, Arizona. We're an importer and distributor of natural stone and other surface solutions, and also for the residential, commercial, and cut-to-size programs as well. So that's enough about me. I've got more interesting ladies to my left here, so I'll go ahead and start. Michelle Allure and Diane Cabral from Cabral Interiors, and Robin Woods, also from Diane Cabral Interiors as well, and Michelle from Walker Zanger. So we're glad to have you guys here as well. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Like Evan said, Michelle Alloy. I'm actually the branch manager of Walker Zanger here in Las Vegas and in our San Francisco branch as well. Natural stone importers, been in the business for about 30 years now, have always been a member of the MIA and now the NSI, and just excited to hopefully give you guys some important information.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Michelle. Hi, I'm Diane Cabral with Diane Cabral Interiors, and I've been an interior designer for probably over 25 years here in Las Vegas, primarily a residential interior designer. And I am so fortunate to be here and answer any questions and work with Michelle, who I work with all the time at Walker Zanger, and my partner over here, Robin Woods.
Hi, I'm Robin.
You're not
Hello? Hello? I don't know how to do this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I started working with Diane 7 years ago. I was doing my internship, and then this past year we partnered up and have been working together this past year, and focusing mainly on high-end residential here in Las Vegas. And we're excited here to kind of give you a different perspective from the designers aspect of working with someone like both of these two here on the stone and sourcing side, and just kind of clear up some of the things that may come to light when you're talking to a client about maybe the sustainability or the pricing of using natural stone in your products or in your projects. So we're excited to be here.
All right. Before we get started, if I can real quick, I think I'd usually say show of hands, but who do we have, a fabricator, or who do we have that's interior designers here today? So a lot of designers, fabricators. Got some fabricators, interior designers, contractors. All right, sounds good. And what about you guys back there?
We have some representatives for the labor force.
Awesome. Well, glad to have you here. We better be on our best behavior.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Very good. So we'll get started. A couple things. Natural stone myths, right? This is something that I think is a big topic. We know that there's a lot of marketing dollars out there to promote whatever it is you're trying to promote, and creates a lot of myths. So the good news is that we can really help, do some education and expunge any of those myths as possible here. So if you guys have any questions of what you heard, who here thinks that natural stone myth, it's too expensive? By show of hands. People think it's too expensive to use sometimes? What's that? Want it to be expensive. That's a business owner. I like that, yes. And who here thinks that too high maintenance? Natural stone is high maintenance, hard to. Okay, gotcha. Well, very good, very good. Well, that'll be easy to expunge on that there as well. And then anybody here think natural stone is not or is bad for the environment to be using natural stone? Okay, fantastic, great. That's great to see. A lot of people do believe that it's not necessarily sustainable and some other things about it. So to really go down that and know that a lot of people do understand that, and we'll talk a little bit more into that to give some information to customers who might think that. We can go into that as well. So, all right. So we'll jump into first of all, go into a little bit of the good morning, the natural stone sustainability. A little bit about sustainability. And so, Michelle, would you talk a little bit about what you know about natural stone and the sustainability and reuse and everything?
Well, the sustainability to me is, the amount of years that quarries are being used, and that, well, you've got sustainable. I'm confused on that one. You were going to go to Diane on that one.
What's that? So we can go. So we're talking like in terms of durability, longevity, recyclable, reusing the materials. So Diane, did you want to give us some information on using
Well,
natural
I just
stuff?
know that it can go back into the earth. That's one thing. It's a natural product. It's good for the environment. So,
I mean,
that's what I would say.
we've done projects 20 years now that have the same countertops, and we just design around those same granite countertops or quartzite countertops. So the longevity and the durability.
Right.
I think when people go to natural stone, they're planning on it being in there for a long, long time.
Right. Go
One of the things that I talk to a lot of designers about is that if we have to tear out a granite countertop and put in a new stone countertop, is at least it's going back and it's being repurposed back to Mother Earth. We're not putting like say a quartz-based material that is all chemicals and putting that back into the earth. We're actually recycling the material, putting it back where it came from. Sourcing local materials to me is great and huge. Robin and I have done a project together where it's quarried right down the road, about 40 minutes outside of Las Vegas. And it's an amazing quarry that, we can keep it domestic and local, and so there's not always the ocean freight. There's not always the extraction from another country and their practices. It's an American brand, and there's a lot of domestic quarries that we can call on. So.
Right, and I'd like to say one thing on the durability and longevity of stone. And Michelle, I've talked to Michelle several times about this, but if I have a client that wants a marble countertop in their island, we always say, hey, in Italy, that's a sign of a fabulous cook if the countertop is stained, and it will, but you just have to kind of feel your client out and find out exactly what they like and what they will accept. But Michelle and I have talked a lot about that, those countertops in Italy, which are absolutely stunning. And they're very old. Some of them are probably over 100 years old. So,
Robin, did you have anything you want to add to that?
Just kind of touching back on what Michelle was saying about the local quarries, it just takes a little bit of search, like into Google, just to say, just to find out what's around you. The stone that we were talking about is called Las Vegas rock. It's quarried in one place in the whole world, and it just happens to be just outside of town. We were trying to play it into the design of the home, of the story of the home. So we actually went out and met a lot of the people that are in charge out there. We learned about their processes. We learned about how they're manufacturing and what they're doing out there, and how the sustainability of all their materials, whether it's the material goods that are being used for like slabs versus the waste products. Like they use their sand to make glass. So it's really nice to be able to go and meet these people, put a face to a product. And when you're selling something like the Las Vegas rock, it's not an inexpensive product. But when you can say, like, I went and met the VP and he walked me through their quarry and he showed me why the product is the best for this specific instance, most of your clients are going to say, awesome, let's do it, because you've done the research, you've shown them that this is the best possible outcome. So It was a really cool way to learn about that specific product, but also, from a Walker Zanger perspective, they have opportunities to go and see all kinds of different products all around the world. So it's just really a cool way to get to know the product and the manufacturing aspect of it.
Well, thank you for that. And also, if you don't mind, I just want to share second uses of stones, third uses of stones, what other opportunities are out there. You mentioned one this morning that you had an encounter with, right? When you brushed your teeth. Could you share that with everybody as well?
Oh my
I think
gosh,
that's a good
this
story.
is so cool. This is so cool. So I guess I just recently learned this, that marble quarries, they sell their sand or their remnants to make toothpaste. We literally brush our teeth with marble. Like, I just think that is just the coolest. I mean, if that's not a full cycle sustainability, I don't know what is. Because I think that is so cool.
I learn something new every day.
That's a good point. Maybe one day we'll be brushing with porcelain or quartz. I don't know. No, probably not.
I
I'm
don't
kidding.
think so.
No, it'll be.
I don't think you want to be putting any quartz dust in your
Of
mouth.
course, no. So that's great to know, and it's neat to know because there are so many different aspects to that. So we'll go into a little bit about the beginning side. So what's interesting about all the products that are made is we talk about the stages that it goes through, the manufacturing stages on how the product is actually how it's made, where it comes from, and really as we talk about common word carbon footprint, what's out there. And so this is kind of we'll go through a couple slides here just to talk a little bit about understanding the difference and really what the impacts are. So on these here, I know Walker Zanger, obviously big importer, so they know a lot of the from the quarry to the kitchen. So would you mind, Michelle, telling us a little bit about the quarrying of stone?
Sure. I love this slide because it literally shows there's three things that happen. We quarry the natural stone either in Italy, all over the world, and that's what I just love about our material is, right now, white marbles are so popular, and so predominantly a lot of them come out of Italy, Greece, Spain. But you see the quarries themselves. They're large, large mountains. Some of the same quarries that, David was carved from are still being used today. So you talk about how long those quarries are in existence. It's not something that they just go and rape the land and then move on. It's something that is sustainable and there for a long, long time. And then it's transported to a producer. They'll take a big block of marble and move it down to a producer who uses water and gang saws and diamond blades to cut it. There's no artificial materials in that. It's natural water, which then they recycle and repurpose. Even the sludge that is used afterwards is repurposed into something else. Then it's cut into slabs and surfaced for countertops, and it's brought up by natural diamond grit. It's not something that, again, there's no extra additives that are used. And then in the fabrication process, once it gets to its country of use, like here in the United States, again, fabricators are using natural tools to do that. They're using diamond grit, and natural polishing comes up from the fabrication. Whereas when you're dealing with quartz-based products or a lot of artificial products, there's a lot more steps, which you'll kind of see in the next slide.
Yeah, and actually, one thing that's neat even beyond that, so I've had the fortune of being able to go to quite a few quarries around the world, being an importer myself, and one of my greatest memories is going to a slate quarry in Brazil. And at this slate quarry, we saw them taking out all the slate, and then they took us to their old quarry that they had finished with. And what they did was they took a uninhabitable land. It was a rough land, nothing could live there, grow there. And after they were done with it, they cleaned up the area, planted some trees, and turned it into a wildlife refuge. They filled it with water and fish, and it became a habitable land, which was very cool actually to see something go from really no use to something that can be even more user-friendly and help out with the earth. So that's another step in there that is really neat on that. So. You guys have anything to add to that, or should we move on to the next slide? All right, so this is natural quartz, and we've gone through and really through the Natural Stone Institute gone through to see what are the steps that are needed, and this is something just that goes into engineered quartz and other engineered products that require multiple ingredients in order to make it. So Michelle, if you want to talk to this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, engineered quartz. A lot of people have that misconception of like, oh, well, it's quartz. There's the name quartz and quartzites get mixed up so often. It's probably my biggest explanation of the day every day is explaining to the homeowner the difference between quartz and quartzite. Quartzite is a natural stone quarried out of the ground like our last process, and then engineered quartz, man-made. So there is raw quartz minerals in there, but if you were to look at the breakdown of what is actually in a quartz slab of a natural raw material, it's very minimal to what the quarry, to all the additives that are added in there. So you see, you got the raw quartz that is mined. Yes, it's the natural part of it. It's crushed and sorted, and then the polyester resin processing comes into play, where there's acids, alcohols, styrenes, all kinds of things that are added to that little bit of natural quartz. And then the ingredients are all transferred to a manufacturing plant, then it's manufactured. There's just so many more steps and transportation processes, and everybody's worried about that carbon footprint. And then also just the off-gassing and things that could get so intense into it, because I really don't like quartz personally. But it's just, they are trying to give natural stone such a bad name, and it's the quartz and the resin and the additives to me is not a natural material anymore. So when that homeowner comes in and they want something that's going to last and stand that test of time, to me it's natural stone, because it just feels better and everything. You don't feel that plastic that is what you actually are getting with quartz.
Right, and the quartzite's a hard, durable stone too.
Quartzite, yeah.
Yes, I actually have it on my island.
Yeah, I think when quartz became really popular early on, they were trying to sell it as a sustainable product because they were reusing reusing material. But when Michelle said, when you actually break it down, the percentage of what's actually being reused is so small. And like our fabricators, they don't like working with it because they have to wear masks. They have to put this whole gear on just to be able to cut it. So it definitely takes the price of the time and of the whole processing, manufacturing of actually making our countertops. It actually increases our cost because they have to do all the PPE, they have to do all this other work when they can just cut natural stone.
So I wanted to ask you, designers there as well, and actually Michelle, when you have a client that's interested in quartz or other man-made products, do you typically go and ask them, to find out why they're interested in that, and what are some of the reasons you hear, and are those myths that you have to expel now? What are some of the reasons you hear commonly?
Well, a lot of my clients will say it's maintenance free. That's what they say. They want to use it on their main counters. They're worried about using a natural stone. So we have to educate them and let them know that there's nothing like natural stone, and no two pieces are alike. And with the quartz, it's just kind of generic.
You can go
So,
into your
yeah.
friend's house and be like, oh, we have the same countertop, and it looks exactly the same because they're coming off the roll the exact same. And another topic is they think that it's price. They think that they're going to save some kind of money at some point in the project by using quartz. And I've had clients say, well, I can put my hot pans on quartz, and I'm like, no, you can't. Absolutely no. You could put your hot pan on natural stone because it came out of the earth. It knows what heat is, so it knows how to react. Do we recommend that? Absolutely not. But if you did have to put it down, at least the material that you're putting it down on, a natural stone perspective, is it knows what heat is, so it's not going to melt on you. It's not going to fall apart. It's going to say, oh, we're getting warm today. It's not going to freak out on you. So those are some of the things that I've run into.
Yeah, I think price is a big myth. That people think that quartz is going to be so much less expensive than stone. And when you can point it out to them that, there's a lot of natural stones that are way less expensive than a quartz, they kind of go, oh, okay, let's talk. And then you talk about the maintenance, like they have sold it very well that it's carefree and maintenance free. And then when you tell people, no, it can't go outside, you can get discoloration with UV, you can get all these things, they kind of go, okay, yeah, let's talk about natural stone then. And it opens that topic of conversation.
And even the outdoor, like they say it's outdoor, but like we live in we all live here. So sun and heat and the dryness, the weird wet that comes and goes, like nothing is outdoor proof here. And I'm not sure where everybody's from, but if anything is going outside in the desert, here
Be the
we do
natural.
natural stone every single time, usually like a leathered finish, so if it gets dusty or something, but yeah, it's not feasible for outdoor use at all.
Well, no, great points on that there as well. And what's interesting is, when you talk about natural stone and you talk about how many ingredients are in natural stone, it's very simple. Natural stone, right? Different minerals of natural stone, but really that's pretty simple. And then when you go into the ingredients that are in a man-made product, any kind of manufactured or engineered product, there are multiple ingredients involved in that. Now that's where, from my experience, is where the issues, arise. And so it's really easy to see what you get when it comes to a natural stone. It's really difficult to know what you're getting when it comes to anything engineered because we don't know what product was put in there. One of the examples we use, and this is, been shown in case studies too, is, when you're talking about any kind of man-made product, if you were to, I like this example here is, if you were to make, we were going to make chocolate chip cookies, for example, and we were to sell them, and I was selling chocolate chip cookies for $1, and she had 3 for $1. Well, people would typically go buy the 3 for $1 every time because it's cheaper and it looks like a chocolate chip cookie. Now, what people don't realize is the ingredients inside is what made the chocolate chip cookie different, right? At the end of the day, she found out that salt was a lot cheaper than sugar. So guess what? Her chocolate chip cookie's made with salt, not sugar. You can't tell by looking at it, but when you taste it, I sure bet you're going to come to me next time and spend $1. And that's why I really believe, what you get with natural stone is you know what you're getting. And that's what's really, beautiful about that. And I think it is what it is, right? There's no surprises there. So, well, great. Well, thank you for that. You did talk a little bit about maintenance, and we talked a little bit on that side. Let's talk about how you educate your customers on sealing, maintaining. Tell me a little bit about sealing stone, because I know that's a big concern, is sealing it every 6 months to a year. Every customer that walks into our place says, oh, we have to seal our stone every 6 months to a year, and that's another myth. So can you speak to that? You want to speak to that?
Well, I have to say that I usually tell them to seal it once a year. And I know that Michelle probably has something else to say on this, but that's what I usually say, because as a designer, I need to kind of protect my product and whatnot, but I do recommend that. So, Michelle, what do you have to say about that?
The right sealer.
Yeah. Different sealers have different requirements, and so we go through the process of which sealers are the best, which ones, and what the client's expectations are. I helped Diane pick her own countertops, a quartzite on the counter on the island and a basaltina on the perimeter, and I told her, here's the sealer, now once every 15 years, but she loves her once a year kind of thing.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry, but my husband, he's an avid cook, and he's very messy, so I want to make sure that I'm good.
And I literally had a designer call yesterday, and she's been in the industry for about 50 years now, and she had some different products in the garage that her client had. She had Windex, she had green granite marble care, and then she also had the liquid gold stuff, and she was just like, what do I do with all this? And I said, throw it out, get some hot soapy water, and clean the granite countertops with that. And she was just like, seriously? And I said, yes. I mean, just keep it as simple and natural as possible. It has been sealed. I said, after that, just let it age and do its thing, and hot soapy water is going to kind of take care of everything. So when people say it's high maintenance, I have marble on my island, granite on my countertops, and that's what I do. And everybody thinks my marble is like the most perfect and easiest to, it's like everybody always sees it and goes, oh my gosh, your marble's just absolutely perfect. And I'm like, no, it's not. It has all these flaws, but the best way to care and maintain it is hot soapy water, personally.
I love that you brought up using marble in the kitchen, because that's a lot of people that I've spoken to have said, oh no, don't use marble in kitchen, stay away from marble. And I completely disagree with that. I think there's an education that needs to be given with that. But, only really in America do we believe that marble needs to look perfect like it's never been touched. You go to Italy or any other country and you see their marble countertops, and they show the wear and tear, the life that they've had. And I think that's part of the charm of that product. It's like, you want to speak to the marble countertops you've used?
I have a client who put the marble on her island, and she was so afraid that it was going to get stained. So she had a coating put on it, I won't say the name or anything, but she was so disappointed that she had all the coating taken off, all of it, and it brought back the beautiful natural marble, and that was a mistake. I felt to do that to a marble island. So.
Now, when you have a client that's looking to do marble, how do you typically answer that, Robin? How do you help them understand using marble in a kitchen if that's what they want, or they say, well, I'd like to do marble, but I don't really want to. I'm afraid of using marble. How do you handle that with them?
Yeah, we like to take our clients through kind of all of the situations that could happen in a kitchen, but it's really just educating them on how to maintain it. We get great brochures from Walker Zanger about, I think it's dry treat. Yeah. So the one that I'm most familiar with is the dry treat formulation, and we just let them know, like, if they're a client that has like this image of everything having to be perfect, we're probably not going to recommend that they do marble, just because the expectation, we're never going to be able to meet that expectation. But if they are willing to take a step back and learn something and say, okay, this is different, this isn't what I was expecting, but I'm okay with it, then yeah, we walk them through, hey, there's going to be inconsistencies, there's probably going to be scratches, there's probably going to be these little inconsistencies throughout the slab over the years. Are you okay with that? And I think just, being very transparent with our clients about how things are going to be and how things are going to react to being used, because in a kitchen, you use it every single day. That's like one of the most used spaces in the home. So we want to make sure that that expectation is set from the very, very beginning. And I think that goes through the entire design process, whether it's furnishing a home or picking surfaces. It's setting the expectation and making sure that they fully understand what they're getting into, and then confidently taking them through it.
Right, and knowing your client.
And knowing them, exactly. Knowing how they live in the space.
Now, what I really like about these designers here is that they have a lot of knowledge on natural stone. And, that just doesn't come. It's not written on the material. It's not just guessed as what it is. So clearly you guys have done your research and, to learn what to use, where to use it, how to utilize it properly. Can you speak a little bit to where you get your information from and what helps you make your decisions?
Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle
Always.
Walker Zanger. There's no doubt about that. Anytime we have a question, we call Michelle. Michelle. So,
And I don't
yeah.
know all. I've been in the industry for a long time, but I do a lot with the Natural Stone Institute. I call on them a lot when we have, like Robin was talking about that large project. We did the cladding on the house, and there was a lot of questions on the maximum size that we could do without having to go, a mechanical bond versus just a straight bond on the wall. So it was kind of, we know there's always a bigger professional in the industry that you can call on, and so always make sure as designers and fabricators or contractors is contact your local supply house, and they should, and especially if they better be members of Natural Stone Institute, but they can take it to them, and there's we all have this, what I call the Bible in our office, that is all, how do we install this properly? There's technical people to call and ask for help, but also just living with the material itself. Like, I was so happy Diane put those two different stones in her house. When a designer can actually live with this material, they know what to expect now. Having a limestone in a kitchen countertop, I have it personally in a house, and I just, most people would just like, oh my God, that's horrible. How could you do that? It's going to stain, it's going to scratch, it's going to etch. And it's like, no, this is what I do to care and maintain it. And then it opens up that dialogue of like, how can I have an inexpensive, limestone in a kitchen, and what does it do?
It's just so unique.
Yeah,
Very unique.
yeah. But being able to call on your local person and then elevating it if you need to on specific installations.
Yeah, it's really about knowing what you're working with in general. Just make sure we don't expect everybody to have all the answers. I do this for a living every single day, so I have a lot of answers, and I've done a lot of research. I've used the Natural Stone Institute Resource Library for multiple things. I've learned so much from that, and so it's really all that information is available at your fingertips, and so I would definitely recommend using that. There shouldn't be any question as to, if you're not sure, going to your local Natural Stone Institute, reaching out to them and asking, you'll get someone who can really give you some good information, and it helps you with your decisions. And it makes the customer that you're working with, the client, feel more comfortable that, they're getting a product that they know is going to work properly for what it needs to be used for. So that's great. And I love that you guys have so much knowledge on it. That's neat.
And I think just adding one thing, I know a lot of our clients come to us and they have like their Pinterest boards, or they have this image from a magazine that they saw, and they're just like, oh my gosh, I have to have this. And, based on their lifestyle, the materials that are in the picture might not quite meet what they're looking for. What's great is I can send that picture to Michelle. I can say, hey, I've got a budget. I need it to look like this. Can you help me find something that looks like this, but it has to meet these characteristics? I can just send it to her, and she's like, yep. I get pictures of full slabs, I get pricing, and I can just show my client and say, hey, this is how we're gonna achieve this look with your lifestyle and your budget. So that's just it's a really unique and really great relationship to be able to have with someone who has so much knowledge, but then to be able to reach out to people to say, hey, I don't know this, I need help. And then if they're like, oh, I don't know, let me pick up the phone. It creates this chain reaction of including everyone in the industry, and you're getting so many more perspectives as you get deeper into that chain. So you're actually learning a lot more, because that person's gonna have a perspective, and then the next person. So I think a lot of the knowledge that we've gotten over the years is just from asking questions.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
if we show Michelle something and she doesn't have it, she can get it.
She'll find it.
She will find it for us. So.
Yeah, definitely. That's the key thing here is don't hesitate to reach out. Lots of answers out there. Lots of people that want to help, and it's very helpful. I still ask questions all the time, so I can learn more and more.
Yeah.
Always, I never know enough. So, going into a little bit about countertop comparisons here. Obviously, we look at the different natural stones that are out there, the different cost factors on the different natural stones, engineered products that are made out there as well, man-made products. You can kind of see the price variances. And so a lot of people always ask questions about, how is a natural stone priced? That's a question. Why is this one so expensive? Why is this one so, cheap, or any of that? I never hear that, actually. I've never heard anybody say, why is it so cheap? Yeah, but I hear, why is this one more expensive? And, with natural stone, what's interesting is, you find out it's about the trends, what's popular. Somebody has a product that, was green and blue and yellow or whatever color it might be, and that may not be today's trend, but one day when it becomes the trend, all of a sudden that price goes up because it's a rare product to find, as well as just the difficulty of actually quarrying and extracting, and the distances that we have to go sometimes, and then when you do cut a block of material, how much of it is very good usable material and how much of it may not be as good. And then we talk about the obviously the environmental impact. So this is a great chart, by the way. And Sarah, I believe this chart is also on the Natural Stone Institute website as well.
This chart is on the Use Natural Stone website, which is basically a website that we've designed to provide resources for more of the consumer and interior designer audience. The stuff you'll find on the Natural Stone Institute's website is a little bit more technical, a little bit more thorough. But if you just want the sound bites like this chart here, this is part of actually a whole series of articles that compares what is the difference in care and maintenance and price and different things when you're looking at granite versus a porcelain or versus an engineered quartz. And it just breaks it down in the simplest of ways and gives you some visuals to help understand it as well. So it's a good tool to send to your clients.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, great one to have here. This type of information, would this be helpful for you to show to your clients and kind of go through about understanding durability?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, I think, we'll move on here. There is a Natural Stone Sustainability Standard, and I believe that, Sarah, did you want to speak a little bit to the sustainability standard?
I sure can. The sustainability standard is something that we've been encouraging our quarriers and producers in the natural stone industry to certify to. What it does is defines the metrics that make stone sustainable or not. So what are you doing with your water? How much energy are you using? Do you have a plan for when that quarry ceases operation? Is there a land reclamation, like you were talking, Evan, with the beautiful park that they created after the quarry was finished and utilized? And those are just some examples. But it's open to quarriers and producers, and it's open worldwide. We don't have a lot of companies or any at this very moment outside of North America that have certified to the standard, but we are really pushing this amongst our members and hoping that this becomes more common. So this logo that you see up on the screen, the Sustainable Stone logo, what that will show you if you see this is that material is from a company and a quarry that is doing the right thing for the environment. So if you have any clients that are concerned about this sustainability and about, you know, who's doing the right thing and am I getting a good material, that's a good thing to look for, is that Sustainable Stone seal. And if you are interested to see the materials that have currently certified, we have a page on our website where you can source sustainable stone. It's our materials gallery. You can get pictures and links through to the website on where to find those materials. And I'm sure there's some that you have in your warehouse or slab galleries at Walker-Zanger.
Yeah, and this would be really great for designers as you guys want to specify natural stones for commercial projects, and they want to see the sustainability and they want to understand, you know, the background behind the stone. It's going to be very helpful to get it into the market and help people understand that. There's a lot of efforts going on with the Natural Stone Institute at the moment to really, you know, help with that education, so everyone understands how to, you know, what is natural stone, how does it work, and where should it be used, and really showing the sustainability. And what's really nice is creating some standards around the world. Standards right now, currently standards in natural stone are actually they're broken down by different regions, different territories, and now they're going to soon be all one single standard that everybody will understand and follow, which will be very beneficial. So we're not just hearing one thing from Brazil, and then in America it's a different one, and in, you know, Italy it's a different standard. It'll all be one standard, which would be very helpful. So it's a great thing that's happening, really promoting, you know, the stone as well. So
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to go to this another great aspect here, the Natural Stone Resource Library. I think, Aaron, did you have a mic? Did you want to speak to this, Sarah? This is also a great. I keep putting you on the spot there. Yeah, but another great book here to have, and I have one, and I highly recommend that a lot of the fabricators have this and understand it, as well as designers. Just a great way to understand the stone and the uses and everything. Did you want to speak to that, Sarah, a little bit about?
Well, the resource library is a container for a lot of different resources, not just the Dimension Stone Design Manual. That's just our primary resource that we provide for the design community and for the stone industry. And you can get a free copy by going to this link. You can also come down to our booth, and we've got an easy QR code for you to scan to get your free copy of that. And you can also get a copy of the sustainability standard that we were talking about just now, just to see what that outlines as well. But these documents on the resource library, again, are more technical. This is for your fabricators, I mean, for your architects, interior designers, not something that you'll probably want to send to your clients because it is, you know, very thorough, very technical, but it's really a great resource for the industry, and we maintain those, keep it up to date, and we're actually publishing a new version of this very soon.
Yeah, this is what I referred to as the Bible in our office, because we get a lot of interesting projects, especially here in Vegas, and our weather conditions like Robin was talking about, and this is just the go-to, and people need that backup if an architect needs a little bit more technical information. Yes, I could look really smart and talk about it, but it's even better to just have the backing and be like, here you go. This is the recommendation. If you have any further questions, let's give them a call, and let's do a little Zoom call, and it's amazing. But, you know, it helps that you have that backing in your own office and in your back pocket to be like, here you go. And so this is what I swear by.
And it's kind of nice to, like, I mean, it's definitely not a page turner. It's, you know, you definitely are looking for what you're looking for, but it's nice to know a little bit more about some of the limitations on these materials, because I think a lot of times as designers we get into this, and I'm speaking as a designer, we get into this mode where we're trying to create the new thing, this next new like wave of the cool, this everything, the thing that everyone's gonna want. And I think a lot of times without the knowledge of knowing what the materials can and can't do, more on the can't side, we end up kind of feeling a little defeated because the idea won't work. So knowing kind of what you can do with materials before, and then going into that creative zone so that you're set up for success, and then that new wave of cool things comes out and it's very successful. So
Yeah, that's great information on that. They're always trying to be thinking ahead and different, and that's the only way to really stand out, right? So to know what works and not is a good idea there. So all right, so we're going to get into some fun stuff here, some case studies, obviously some designs from these fabulous designers up here, and tell us a little bit about how natural stone inspired this, and why you chose natural stone for that space, and we'll go through a little bit of these here and get some feedback.
Okay, well, I was talking to you about that island where my client wanted to put that coating on it. Well, this is the island right here. And this is after we took the coating off. So she absolutely loved this marble. And so we actually placed it on her island. We placed it on the wall in her dining room and also her great room. I think we sealed it when we first put it on, and I mean, the house isn't that old. It's probably only 3 years old at this point, but it's gorgeous. And like I said, there's no two pieces that are alike, and there's just nothing like natural stone. And this particular client wanted the natural stone. Even though she was scared of it on her island, we talked her into it, and she's been very happy with it. So.
This is a stunning example of the use of natural stone. And this is all in the same home?
It is, yes.
And what's really cool too
Yeah.
is the where the I'm pointing here, but you're looking there. But where the
Oh, I didn't see it up there.
I'm like pointing here, but the space that's showing in the kitchen, it actually is. All of these spaces actually look into each other. So I think it's a really cool representation of how you can use natural materials that are all in the same space, but are all so unique and individual. Like Diane was saying, like each piece is so unique. It really does, it carries the same idea through the home, but it really does allow you to give each space its own unique personality. Like looking at the great room fireplace wall with in comparison to the island, there's a lot more movement going on. There's a little bit more of an impact for that focal piece there. Because in the kitchen, you have all the cabinetry, you have, the accent hood. There's a lot more going on. So going a little bit more subdued on the island, but still maintaining that same continuity between the spaces.
And because we wanted to use the natural stone, we actually used the real wood floor too, which it was a beautiful home. It really was, with all the natural products. So.
I especially have to compliment the center picture there. Obviously, we've seen natural stone on fireplaces. We've seen natural stone on countertops. But that center picture, it looks like it's wall art. It's literally just put there for
absolutely.
wall art to really decorate and open up the room.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
That's stunning. So I love that.
And that's something I tell a lot of people because they see natural stone and they think it's so expensive. When we get back to that, cost, that natural stone is so expensive. When you see book match slabs or you see a beautiful piece of stone and used in an application like that, that actually would cost you a lot less than a great piece of art. And so I always kind of put that back on the client, like, hey, this slab might cost you $3,000. Now, if you were to pay an artist to actually paint that and do something, to make it look as beautiful as natural stone, it would cost you 4, 5, 10 times more.
And it's even older than Van Gogh.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, right.
It is.
And actually, the marble in the dining room had a lot more movement than what you're actually seeing here because of the light. But,
We'll go on to the next one here. Another, it looks like some bathroom scenes here.
yes, and we used natural marble in here. We actually used it on the floor and the walls. We used it in the shower. I don't believe we used it on the countertop, so don't look at the countertop. But anyway, yeah, and every piece was just so unique and so different. It was a stunning bathroom. So, and again, this client was just so afraid of marble and whatnot, but she was very, very excited and happy that was the outcome. So
That must be the sub top on that countertop, waiting for the marble to be
I'm
installed.
not going to talk about that one.
Kind of looks like a sub top to me.
This is if you can go back real quick. This is actually a really great example. Like, even if you were to go into Google and find an image to show a client, this is a really great way to show clients how different stone can be from piece to piece. On that back wall, I mean, there's not one piece that looks like the other. And that's really about when you're getting to know your client and kind of their expectation of what they want things to look like. If you showed them an image of something like this and they were like, oh my gosh, that's complete chaos, I can't deal with that, they have ADD or whatever, it's fine, because then you're able to differentiate maybe a species, because this is a marble, this has a lot of veining. You tell that to Michelle and you say, hey, I need a natural stone that doesn't have a lot of chaos, more consistency, more, more of that, what do you call that? Consistency.
Calmness or
yeah.
not
So
as
it kind of
crazy.
helps you identify what kind of stone to use as well
Right.
in that first initial kind
Knowing-
of informative stage.
Knowing your client,
Yeah.
what they like and what they'll accept. So
Yeah, and slab's always a good option too to make sure you have that. So just like you did in the other one there. So
Yeah.
go on to this beautiful home here as well if you want to share a little.
I wanted to show this because we designed this home probably 20 years ago, very Tuscan, which we're not doing a lot of that today. However, they just sold this home, and the granite countertops that were used throughout the kitchen they were perfect. They looked like they did the day that they were installed, and also the French limestone flooring in the kitchen. You can see that with the natural wood. It looked beautiful 20 years later. I mean, I'm sure that she probably had it, she had it sealed, obviously. But there's marble cleaners here in town and whatnot, contractors that come in, and she did have that done, I know, but the maintenance was very, very low on it. And then the master bathroom, all of that was marble. The bathtub was all marble. The countertops were marble. Even the mosaic tile was all natural stone. So this whole house, entire home, we used natural stone. And like I said today, it's just as beautiful. So
Would it be safe to use the word timeless?
timeless. And another thing about natural stone is the edge details.
I was
you
gonna
can do
say, look at
so
the edge
much
detail here.
with the edge details with natural stone. And so, I mean, I would always pick natural stone over any material. So.
Tell us a little bit about this kitchen. Obviously, it's another unique design, very beautiful.
Right, this was more of a modern craftsman design that we designed a couple years ago. And Michelle helped me with the island material, which was a leathered titanium quartzite that was just stunning, absolutely stunning. And we won't talk about the counters in the back, but sometimes our clients, if they want it, we have to specify it.
But even at that point, just to say, really a focal point. If you look at this kitchen,
It was,
the back counter. No offense, it doesn't really stand out. What stands out is that island. That
Right.
island is beautiful. It's unique. It's different.
And then
It's
I don't know if you
gorgeous.
can see it, but above the cabinets, we used a natural limestone too that was cut into various pieces. So that was used above the cabinets and on the fireplace in the great room. I don't know. Do you have another photo of this house?
This is the last one of this
Okay,
one here.
all right.
The thing I have to comment on this design is how natural, the wood ceiling and then the natural quartzite on the countertop, just how beautifully they tie together in the cabinets. Wood and stone, I think, are just meant to go together. They're both, extracted from the earth. They're both beautiful products that, our planet just keeps giving back to us. And when you see them applied like this, it's just absolutely stunning.
I think I want to redo my house now. Thank you for that.
I got a designer I can recommend for you.
Yeah, actually, oh no, there it is. Okay, there's where we used it on the. I'm pointing down here because our photo's here, but you can see it on the fireplace too, where we use the natural stone, and then the photo on the right, that's where we use the natural stone on the countertops, and that was a Mephisto quartzite, and Michelle helped me source all that material too. So.
Another
Michelle, you
stunning-
helped with the one previously, the 20-year-old one, right?
Yeah.
That's how long we've known Michelle.
Yeah, we're working on another one right now.
Diane and I did that one 20 years ago.
Oh, that's great.
Yes,
And that is something to point out. The relationship here, the partnership is important. And if you're a designer, having a partnership with your suppliers is huge. It's really important. I have great relationships with my designers, and so do our team. Really important because then you get beautiful, impactful, looks that are the right look for that space. So, I appreciate these. We have a couple minutes left here, so a couple things I want to go over before we move forward. Building Stone magazine, great magazine. It's one of the only magazines out there that are all about natural stone in installations. Something great to subscribe to if you don't already. Really beautiful magazine, put together well. And just shows you a lot of great installations and uses of natural stone. Lots of good information in there as well. So
It's a great inspirational one because it's photographed from all over the country. I love how you guys need to get that. It's so much fun for me to look through it and see what are they doing in other states and other cities and bringing that to Vegas because there's so many. The inspiration is crazy in that magazine.
definitely more of a page turner.
Yes,
So
definitely. That's much more your style, Robin.
other than that, we just want to go through ask any questions. I'm sure there's some questions that are in the audience there. As you want to hand the mic out, or if you have a good voice, just project the voice would be fine too.
Okay, so when you compare natural stone, thank you. When you compare natural stone and now with the ceramic tile proposition with the big slabs, I mean, where's the value proposition that will make me choose natural stone over ceramics? Now that the format, it's there. We can have the same visual.
The same look.
Yeah, exactly.
similar.
Similar.
Similar. I don't think you can have the same look.
Do you want to touch? Do you want to touch on the usable?
So the usable of like large format porcelain
Yeah. That is
slabs
correct, yeah.
versus like natural stone. I mean, large format porcelains are fabulous. We have a great supply of them and everything, and they have a place. To me, it's when it comes down to the edge details, a lot of that, where like Diane talked about natural stone, the edge detailing becomes somewhat of an issue. With a 1/2 inch thick or 12 millimeter thick porcelain slab, you can only do so much with your edge detailing. Also, to me, it's just a lot of it is the feel of the material itself. On stone walls or on walls, if somebody wanted to have like full marble book matched walls, they just can't handle the weight, let's say, of 3/4 inch marble, so we will sway or look to a porcelain slab. But when you talk about the maintenance of it on a countertop, I will always go to the natural stone side because if there was a crack, a scratch, a stain, a burn, and something, I can talk somebody through how to care and maintain that. When it comes to a porcelain, and if it gets cracked or there's a movement on the island, there's nothing you can do. You tear it out and put a new one in. So to me, it's just educating the client the differences between those two things. But the biggest part is probably the edge detail and then just the natural feel of it, making sure people put their hands on it and touch it and know how their undermount sink is going to look with a porcelain slab. Even at the size of porcelain slabs nowadays at 128 by 63 kind of in size, that's not big enough for a lot of the islands in this city. Whereas natural stone, we can get now some slabs that are 75 inches tall, and we just are able to do that. But I guess the biggest thing for me is the edge detailing and just the feel of it.
And there is a place for porcelain slabs,
Yeah.
Definitely.
I just want to touch from the designer's perspective on the sinks. Like I like porcelain on a countertop that has no sink because when you actually cut it out, that pattern we're not quite there yet. The pattern does not go through, and it just doesn't quite do it. Like it looks really unfinished. And a lot of times designers, like we're putting in sinks that cost thousands of dollars. So your eyes are gonna go to that sink. You want it to be a focal piece. And then you have this countertop that's beautiful on the top. And then you see the edge and you're like, ugh. You know, it's like almost like that missed, it's like that thing you see, it's like a missed opportunity. So I think that for me, from a design perspective on the finishing end, it just feels really almost like incomplete. Whereas with the natural stone, you get that variation all the way through the slab. You can polish that edge, and it just looks really, really finished at the end.
And I agree with you, Robin. When we have clients that want to use a porcelain slab in their bathrooms, I usually do a self-rimming sink, which I hate to do, but I agree with you on that rim.
Yeah. I'd much rather see I'd much rather see like a stainless steel finished edge than, and we really aren't quite, you know, Schluter can only do so much. You know, you can only
Schlutered
do
out.
so much. Yeah.
We have some more questions? Yes.
I just wanted to touch base again on having marble in a kitchen. Do you guys ever recommend that maybe it's, you know, because I know water and citrus will etch marble, but do you ever recommend to the customer that if they take the polish off and that they hone it, that it might be a little more forgiving, I guess, when it comes to etching? And
Yeah, I have my island is white marble. It's a Calcutta, and I've had it for 15 years now. But what I did 15 years ago, before we got way more popular with leathering slabs or flaming slabs or brushing slabs, I did an acid finish on it to get away from the polish. Uber contemporary home, and I just kind of threw some acid on it to get rid of that polish. I could still get some etching because over time, marble will just keep kind of buffing itself back up. So I get this high hone on it now after 15 years, and I cook a lot. I'm extremely rough on my countertop, so I explain that to clients every day as like, wear it, live it, let it do its thing. I squeeze a lot of lemons, and I do have little etch marks, but and I explain to people, like, you see those etch marks, maybe like it has to be that, just that unicorn time of in my house. It's like 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. If I'm standing just right, I'll see those etch marks. But on the most part, you never see it. You just kind of, it's just beautiful. I call them battle scars from parties. I have like some little dings in it when my nephew made gnocchi 10 years ago on my countertop and used a serrated knife. And I have like these little dings in there. But you know what? After 10 years, they're almost gone. And it is making me sad because I'm like, oh my God, I remember when Steph did that. So it's like, it's a party battle scar of livability.
Right.
But that's setting the expectation, telling people, you know, a lot of people understand butcher block. So I might compare a limestone island or a marble island to that. Like, you understand that wood is going to do this. Now, why aren't you as forgiving with natural stone or with this material? You know, you're totally fine with your butcher block looking like it's been beat up for centuries and it's only 2 years old. Now your marble is going to take a century to get that way, and you're not going to accept it. And so I kind of have that talk with clients, very brutally honest. But yes, telling them to go honed or brushed or leathered. And nowadays we have all those finishes available to us. So it helps hide those etches and the rings that you get in a polish.
Yeah, very good question. Thank you. We have time for one more question here.
Hey, thank you, guys. And thank you for educating us on the usage of the natural stone. What is your recommendation? Like, I'm seeing people are kind of moving towards the engineered stone, quartz, and now porcelain is coming up. Do you see how the graph is going to go up or it's going to go down in the next few years, and people going to come back to the natural stone? What is your recommendation right now in the market when you see people coming to you and asking questions?
I'll tell you a little bit on that one there. Just like anything, in my opinion, things go through cycles, and there seems to be a trend of doing a look-alike marble, right? A look-alike product. I mean, they're all trying to mimic natural stone, really, which is a compliment, right? That's the best flattery, right? And so I personally see that, you know, that you got to think about it. When everybody has fake wood or fake countertops, and all of a sudden somebody down the street has the real marble that they just put in their house, and people go over there and see it and say, holy cow, this is gorgeous, and all of a sudden you've got the real thing, and it becomes the rare product it once was. And I think that it's going to come back around to that. I really do. I think that the trend of the Calcutta looking quartz, everybody's got it, and bless you, and not everything looks like Calcutta, it's what they're calling that. And so I do see that trend changing and going back, and a lot of the efforts that are going into promoting natural stone will help with that too. And so it's just, we've got a very big industry in the natural stone industry, and it's a lot of people around the world, and it's hard to send one message of the what we're saying today. It would be really nice if the entire community of natural stone could go out and speak that same message. It would be very helpful. Unfortunately, it's not major brands that are out there speaking, so that's the disadvantage. And that's why we're working on different ways to be able to get that voice out there and promote it, because there's a lot of great advantages. And I love the whole diamond earrings versus the cubic zirconium. Go ask any lady here who would rather go get some cubic zirconium, in their ears rather than a diamond. And we know that the diamonds have inclusions and they have flaws, and that's not a problem. That's part of the charm of the product. And so keep in mind it's a natural product, and it's got those characteristics to it. So don't ever let that go. So I do believe we're done with time here, and so appreciate everybody coming here. One thing I do want to say real quick, we do have a Pinnacle Awards, and I caught that, right? Good one there. The NSI has a Pinnacle Award submission here, so that's going to be some entries on any kitchens or bathroom designs that you guys have done. You can go to the Natural Stone Institute booth and get some more information, but do submit for the entries by May 20th is our deadline there. And lots of opportunity to win, get a lot of exposure. It does get published, so if you're a designer, if you're a fabricator, a contractor, and you want to submit a project you did, a home project, please do. And it can definitely get you some good exposure, and hopefully, build on that as well. So I want to thank you guys for getting up this morning. First of all, thank you for that. I also really want to thank Michelle, Diane, and Robin, and of course Sarah for letting me put her on the hot spot there for this morning and sharing all your knowledge and experience. So if you guys can give them a warm welcome, thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you, Evan.
And this doesn't mean the questions are over. So if you guys do have questions. The NSI booth, what's the booth number for? It's 5 or N511 or something like that, I think. What is it, 529? N529. So if you do have questions, go there. Lots of people to answer questions. We'll be here around as well. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, guys.